Welcome, dear friends, back to the Sound Body Shikome. My name is Paola de la Concha, and we're tuning in from Mayan lands in the Yucatan of Mexico. This is a very sacred space, and I'm so happy and honored to be tuning in with you from this place. So we have started our sound alchemy journey, and with this, we can connect to different seeds and new beginnings. So you would ask yourself, how do I start relating to sound? How can I begin with this enormous amount of options, really? And one of the options is to begin with the very simple, important, basic, but universal sounds that exist in so many ancient languages and cultures. And as you navigate our different videos, you'll see that there are different sounds of the universe. The Om, for example, is the most famous sound, at least that I know of, in the culture that I grew up in terms of the universal sound, right? But there are also very old, ancient sounds like this that are from different parts of the universe that speak of this enormous interconnection that we have with one another, the cosmos and the earth. And so today I want to share with you part of my spiritual lineage, which is the Bonn Buddhist lineage. We have our incarnated lineages, so our human lineages and our connection to our family that we spoke of in another moment. And then we also have our spiritual lineages that each person resonates and chooses to see and explore their own path. And ultimately, I think, and what I perceive is that when we leave this plane, we can release all identity and come into the oneness, which is our essential place, our sacred place of who we really are. But as we navigate this human experience, it's helpful to experiment and try out things that you might resonate with, that connects you to the oneness of all. And so from this place of sound alchemy, how we can relate to the oneness are the key seed syllables, or seed bijas, as one of the words that we can relate to, the sound, very basic sounds of the universe. So today I want to share with you one of my lineages from the Tibetan Bonn Buddhist lineage, and I learned this from my teacher, Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. So if you'd like to find more information about this, you can Google or you can find in different places the warrior seed syllables. And Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche is one of the guardians of these seed syllables. These seed syllables can be related to different parts of our body. And in the Vedic tradition, there are different sounds, and you will find different sounds like this in many cultures. But today we're going to relate to the warrior seed syllables. That's how they're called. And the warrior seed syllables, it doesn't relate to any form of violence in the terms of a warrior, but of the spiritual warrior that connects through the unconditional love force to relate with each other and with ourselves. So that person who basically is transmuting all that they need to transmute within themselves to be in more peace and offer that peace to others from a non-judgmental point of view. At least that's my perception of what that means. So the warrior seed syllables relate to different parts of your body, and I really want you to discern in this path, like invite you to discern on this path of sound alchemy, if this is something that you want to relate to or not. Like I said before, each of us has different resonances, and some tools will be useful for you and some tools you may not resonate with. And if this is part of your lineage or something that you resonate with, then try it out and see how it helps. Ultimately, I think that we come back to silence, and in the silence of creation, there's all the sounds and there's completely no sound at the same time. This is how I feel it is. But for now, these seed syllables help us calm different centers in our body. They help us relate to the silence and the peace through sound, which might seem a little paradoxical. So in this lineage, we have A, Om, Hung, Ram, and Sa. And A, the sound A, if you can think of this sound, Ah, it is a sound that opens. It is a sound that we relate to as a humanity, as a sound of restoration. So if you were to touch a hot pan, for example, or you burn yourself slightly, usually we make this sound. We go, ah. You know, you touch something hot, you go, ah. Or even in different situations of pain, or it is common for people to use it, ah, like this sound when you're going through different parts of pain. And so this, I find, is a sound that resonates with this part of our restoration. It's a sound that comes out naturally when we need to restore the physical body or the pain body, right? Which is only one of our bodies. So this sound in this Tibetan lineage relates to our third eye and our crown chakra. So this part here and this part here. So when we think of the sound Ah, we're going to imagine an emanation from this part and this part of the crown. Ah. The next warrior seed syllable is the famous Om or Aum. And Om relates to the throat chakra. And in other cultures, Om is, universal. So it's really important not to just fixate on one way of seeing things. This is just one of the maps that you can analyze, try out, and see how you feel about it. In this lineage, Om is related to the throat. In other lineages, Om is in the heart. So you can just see, relate, compare, and discern for yourself, right? The third warrior seed syllable is Hung. H-U-N-G. Hung, in the heart. Okay? The next one is Ram, which is in the area that is the center of the torso. Ram. And then the last one is Tsa. D-Z-A. Tsa. And relates to our root chakra and our connection to the earthly plane and our physical self. So, A here, Om, Hung, Ram, Tsa. A, Om, Hung, Ram, Tsa. So, A is related to wanting to clear the mind, right? To coming back to clear crystal mind of the white light in our superior part of our body. Ah. Om is connected to the expression of the throat. So all that we want to say and all that we want to be in silence. Hung is connected to the openness of the heart, to the blossoming of the inner knowing through unconditional love. Hung. Ram is connected to the center of our torso, that part that connects us to our discipline, to our sacred will, to our decision making. Tsa is connected to a sense of completion, is connected to our finances, to our relation to the earth, and to a sense of finishing something. So, for example, when women give birth, they're connected to that part of Tsa. The completion of the birth is through this canal. So how we practice this is that we inhale through the nose. And I'm going to invite you to practice this breath that goes all the way into the stomach. We inflate the stomach. On our inhale, exhale, we bring our belly button back. Inhale. Exhale. So when we start to inhale, we're going to make our belly wide. And on the exhale, bring our exhale and our belly button into our spine, towards the back of our body. Inhale. Inflate the stomach. Exhale. Bring our exhale and our belly button back. So with each of these seed syllables, on the exhale, we're going to release the sound. So I inhale in silence. And we exhale. Ah. Inhale. Inhale. So I'm going to invite you to explore each of these sounds. You can repeat them as many times as you'd like, and the duration of the sound is going to vary between how much you inhale and how much you exhale. And at first, that capacity might be different, right? You might be able to inhale more on the ah or less in the ram. And this serves as kind of a scanning of how we are. The idea is to find a balance between what you inhale, the amount of air or prana that you're inhaling, and the amount of exhale, right? So as we receive, we give in this sacred reciprocity of our breath. And so really inviting you to try to inhale and exhale with the same amount of prana. And try for the duration of each of the syllables to be whatever it needs to be. So sometimes your voice will waver. As you heard me in this moment, there might have been sounds that have more crystal clear than others. There might have been sounds that are stronger than others in my body, and that relates to where I'm at energetically in this moment. So you can feel maybe your ah is super strong, but maybe your tsa is wavering. And that will tell you information about how you are in this moment. If you relate to creating this sound and listening to yourself without judgment, just being very practical and saying, okay, here is a sound that is more uncomfortable for me, or is wavering a little bit, moving around, then I'm going to practice this a little more. And eventually, these sounds will be connecting and aligning your energetic body in a resonance that is protective and a resonance that is very harmonious for your entire life, right? And you can even practice these sounds in silence. So you may be able to inhale and even think about the Om. Like you might even be at the supermarket or on a plane or whatever. You can do this in silence and it will be resonating in your body. Okay, so inviting you to choose a day, maybe, and each day you're going to be practicing one syllable. So first you can start with ah, then the next day om, the next day hum, the next day ram, and finally tsa. And then the next day you start over again, ah, om, hum, ram, tsa. That is one way you can practice in your sadhana. The other is to do repetitions of a certain amount of each syllable. So you might be able to do 10 ahs, then oms, then hum, then ram, and sa. So choose one of these options and do the repetitions as much as you can. We're going to start, I'm going to give you an example of a short practice that you can do connecting each of these sounds. Okay, so let's begin. Take a deep breath. Relax your body. It helps to have any Tibetan bowls near. If you have Tibetan bowls, bring them out because they are of this lineage. It's like they're your cheerleaders, their ancestors of this lineage that are like cheering you on. and connecting you to anybody who is doing this meditation in other spaces and the vibration of these sacred sounds. So let's begin. You can place your hands on your knees or anywhere else on your body. Take a deep breath. Inhale your belly, exhale. Take another inhale, center yourself. Exhale. And let's begin. We're going to try out doing the full line of syllables. So we're going to go from A to the O to the Hum, Ramsa. Okay? Try to do this, and if you can do it in one breath, great. And if not, that's perfectly fine. You can pause and continue. So let us begin. Aum Ramsa. So as you can see, my breath, I did the first 3 syllables, paused, inhaled, did another inhalation, and then finished. So let's try that again. Aum Hum Ramsa. Aum Hum Ramsa. Aum Hum Ramsa. So as you can see, for some reason right now, my body is taking me to do more emphasis on the bottom sounds. And so you might have more breath for the top sounds or the bottom sounds. Just allow yourself to observe yourself without getting too analytical, because ultimately these sounds are trying to help us bring in a space of pure presence, right? Not analyzing or thinking too much about it. And so the idea is for you to observe how you're relating to these sounds without over-analyzing yourself, just being in your full presence, having the sounds assist you to be in your full presence. And so as you practice, you might just be watching me and saying, okay, whatever, that's interesting. But as we delve deep into each of these sounds, you'll explore the universe in each of the sounds. So even if you just choose one of these sounds and explore it fully, you will discover more and more aspects of yourself that are worth observing and diving into. So really inviting you to choose either one of them or to practice the full sequence. You can do one of the seed syllables for even 15 minutes or up to an hour, over and over again, to explore what that feels like. Beautiful practice. Gracias.